Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Adorkable Anarchist World with me, Mitchell Wiechek. Today is September 22nd, and I am redoing this episode because yesterday I tried to record this, and for some reason the audio did not come out. And I learned that apparently when I don't have audio playing, apparently I have crazy face. So maybe I'll make that a gimmick for the hell of it. But anyways, I have a few small things to talk about today, and I'm going to try and get through these as quickly as possible. I guess we'll call this a flash cast, because I don't really have I'm technically going outside the scheduling of the Voluntary Virtues Network. So first thing that I'm going to talk about is Ann Coulter. And in case none of you know, recently she went to a Young Students for Liberty conference and answered some questions. And, freaking bow tie, I'll tell you. This, basically what happened was she lost her temper. And she called us libertarians a bunch of quote-unquote pussies and nerds. This bow tie probably doesn't help with that right now. But one thing that I do want to point out is, pussies and nerds. Huh, that's a new one. I mean, normally I always hear either hipster or fedora-wearing hipster, but okay. A for originality, I guess. But, seriously, no fedora-wearing hipsters? That would have been way more funny to hear her say that. But anyways, you know, every time she answered one of these questions, she always related it back to the welfare system and big government. Whenever someone asked her about gay marriage or legalizing marijuana or something like that. And, you know, my big thing is, how are none of those big governments? So here's my challenge for Ann Coulter. If she really thinks that we're pussies, well, if she wants to prove to me that she isn't a pussy, then she'll answer this question directly to me. Either on Facebook, my private account, or hell, even go to my frickin' Facebook page and do it. Tell me, Ann, how is the drug war and regulating marriage not big government? Because it is exactly what big government is. Do explain to me, how is it not? And don't make this into a bullshit, don't give me a bullshit answer like you were giving everyone else on that stage. Don't somehow relate this back to, oh, you're just trying to kiss up to the liberal. That has nothing to do with it. I hate both liberals and conservatives equally. And, you know, another funny thing I noticed was she later wrote that if you're planning on voting libertarian, send me your name and address so I can come and drown you. You know, the original plan was to write that on a big piece of paper and hold that in front of the camera, but thanks to Reason magazine, unfortunately, I can no longer do. We'll make it into a date. I'll show you a good time, and you can drown me at the end of it. While Black Widow on me, and we're experiencing technical difficulties. Oh, great. What is going on here? Hello, can you hear me? Can people still hear me on there? Well, there's no one in the viewership right now, so, no one can even see, so, next on to, Agorist Metaphysics, and, I recently wrote an article about this that I put on Facebook, and I normally don't release my stuff that I write, so, this was kind of a different type of thing for me to do. But I got some interesting feedback on it, and one thing that I didn't really do as well as I could have was just describing what why agorism has so much to do with metaphysics. And what it comes down to is agorism is the only economic philosophy that reflects in the metaphysical world. Economic structures will come and go, just as political structures will come and go. And just like anarchy has always been there, agorism has always been there as well. The thing is, so many people are agorists and don't even realize it. I mean, these dog walking services, guitar lessons, garage sales, panhandling, which I'm about to start doing because I just quit my wage slave job. I mean, there's so many parts of agorism that people just don't even recognize, and it's amazing. And, you know, it's amazing to see how the agora is leading us towards this self-sustaining world. Like, the technology like 3D printing, cryptocurrencies, solar roads. Hell, even now I'm seeing things on Facebook about hover bikes. Which literally leads me to saying to the statists, where are your precious roads now? But, agorism itself is a desire for meaning. And that is where I think it comes, and that meaning is fulfilled in La Agora. And, you know, if I could for a second explain how agorism has always been there and always will be, I'm going to go back and reference a book that I tend to reference a lot on this show. And I will continue to do so, because it really was an interesting novel to really look back and see a history of our roots, if you will. And goddamn, this bow tie is driving me crazy. I'm probably going to have to fix this after I get off. But George Orwell's homage to Catalonia. At one point when Orwell is in Barcelona, he goes into an underground black market shop to buy a pistol, because by this point in the novel, the Republicans and the Communists have become very strict with a lot of these sorts of things. And it's so interesting to see this sort of agorist transaction take place before there was even a solid theory on counter-economics. It just goes to show you the act of agora has always been there. It always has been and always will be. You cannot restrict this freedom from the market. Because, God knows, the market is leading us towards a world free of rulers. A world that does not fear man. And that leads me to my final topic today. Once again, this is kind of a flash episode that we're doing here. And that is Scotland's secession. And you know what? I see this and I can't help but think, what did you expect to happen? Hey, Warden, me and some of the prisoners have decided, yeah, we've rehabilitated ourselves. We've kind of been here too long. The only reason we're here is because some guards have been pissing us off, really don't like us. Yeah, we've decided we're just going to leave. Yeah, good luck with that. But, you know, it's interesting looking at the various cases of secession with Scotland, Catalonia, Christiania, Denmark, Quebec, East Ukraine. And I'm sure there's plenty more than that, but it really is an interesting thing to look at. I mean, granted, they're just taking down one state to put up another, but in a way I would argue that it's a step in the right direction, because you're at least moving into something smaller, and the goal is, if we can make these things go smaller, smaller, and smaller, eventually get it down to the individual. And you know, the thing is, like, when Scotland did their secession, they did it through the British political paradigm. And I'm going to compare this to East Ukraine in a second. Now, I'm not advocating for anything in East Ukraine, because these guys are nuts, trust me. I've seen enough videos to see that they're just as bad as the fascists in Kiev. But one thing that their vote for secession had that the one in Scotland did not was it was done outside of Ukraine's political structure. And it was because it was done outside of Ukraine's political structure that the West labeled it as an act of aggression. In Scotland, it was done within the political structure, which gave them the go-ahead to, well, rig it. And I'm not sure if you've seen any of the evidence online of this election being rigged, but there is tons of evidence that has just floated to the surface after all of that. And really, what did you expect? You're asking permission for freedom. Free people should not have to ask for permission. So here's really what it comes down to for me. If you want to secede, then just do it. Don't ask for permission. Don't try and go through some bullshit political system. Just secede. If the state really wants to use violence, then let them. If they use violence, they are only showing themselves as the barbarians in this case. The world will somehow see of their crimes against humanity. And, you know, you might be saying, well, in East Ukraine, the West has still been framing these anti-terror operations as humanitarian bullshit. Well, yes, they have, but at the same time, it has become too big to deny the heavy civilian casualties, or to deny any of the workings of the East. Even Vice News, the group that was peddling and showing, oh, the new Ukraine Kiev government is so amazing. At first, even they've reached a point where they realize, listen, we can't defend these guys anymore. I mean, they're literally wearing blatant symbols of fascism and killing civilians. Like, even they have realized that this is an unwinnable propaganda war. And so will happen anytime the state uses violence against peaceful people trying to leave. It doesn't matter how the state tries to frame it. Eventually the truth will get out. Because in the end, one truth always prevails. So don't ask for permission. Just take the direct action and do it. Well, this has been a flash episode of The Adorkable Anarchist World with me, Mitchell Wiecek. Oh, I'll tell you, it kills me because, like, I had my theme song already yesterday and everything, and, like, now I'm not even using the theme song. I'm having to go back to this old-fashioned webcam thing that I've been doing with the headphones, and hopefully I'll have this all good and running again by next week. Hopefully I'll start using the microphone by next week. That'll hopefully work better. And to all of you who've actually made it to the end of this video, which I highly doubt so many of you have, because even the videos where people do watch, it seems like they always make comments and then don't even realize I talked about that in the video. Well, without further ado, this is Mitchell Wiecek trying to remain optimistic in the age of imperialism. For the Voluntary Virtues Network, this is Mitchell Wiecek signing out.